Well, good morning. Today is Friday, December 10th, Erev Shabbat, Parshat Vayigash. It's the middle of the Parsha when God appears to Yaakov as he is beginning his descent to Egypt for to have a reunion with Yosef and to be to find food and be saved by living there. And God says to him, I am the God of your father. Don't be afraid to go to Mitzrayim because you'll become I'll make you a great nation there. And here's the pasuk I'm interested for the moment. Anochi ereidi mecha. God says, I will go down with you, Mitzrayim, to Egypt. Va'anochi a'alcha gam alo, and I will bring you up. Bring you up. V'Yosef yashit yado al elinecha, and Yosef will place his hands upon your eyes. Here we should keep in mind a contrast, a parallel and a contrast to the time that Yaakov first left Canaan. This is his second time leaving Canaan. The first time he's running from his brother Esav. God appears to him in a dream scene with a ladder, if you remember that story, right? And he says to him, I'll be with you. I'll be with you. I'll protect you. I will not desert you until I bring you back to this place. Right, in peace, that's beautiful. That's a great bracha. So God is telling Yaakov, I'll be with you, and I'll bring you back. But the reality is different, right? He's not going to bring him back in the same way. I'll bring you up, as we know. Yaakov is brought up only as he's being buried to the Maran HaMachpelah. So it's a very the paralleling is there, and then the clear contrast is there for us to feel as well. And indeed, Yosef will place his hand upon your eyes means that you're not gonna come back out of Egypt alive. That's just a sobering statement. Yet we should read this in this way, and I'll read you how the Chizkuni really interprets those words of placing hands upon the eyes. Min haghu. This is the practice and the custom that the living do with the dead, that they close their eyes shortly after they pass. That is what's being described. What he's saying here, this is not simply that the sober statement, you're not going to get out of here, but this is part of a comforting statement that God is making. God was promising him that Yosef will be there. Will be there when he dies, which is, this gift that a person should not feel they're going to die alone. And that's what happens in Parshat Vayechi, right? That the whole family, with Yosef especially, are all there around his bed as he passes from this world. But more than that, he will play that critical role of helping ensure that you get that you're brought up from Egypt. That I'm promising you will, but it's going to be through Yosef that you will be brought up from Egypt and brought to the Maran HaMachpelah, to the cave of the patriarchs, to be buried there. And so again, a piece of the comfort is to tell him you're not destined to return alive to Eretz Yisrael, but you will make it back alive, and your son and family will be with you as you pass. There's comfort that happens there. And then he goes on. Davar acher, another way to understand it. Al einecha, al inyanecha. Doesn't mean on your, Yosef will place his hands on your eyes, but rather, not einayim, but inyanecha, on your affairs. Because you're in Yaakov, that's how he interprets that verse in Dvarim. Klomar, that is to say, Yishtadel ha'asot tzarachecha, he will make great efforts to take care of all of your needs. So on the one hand, this is a very famine-centric promise. Everybody else in the world, Nebuch, is struggling mightily just to survive on the few, on the small provisions that they've purchased in Egypt and brought back with them. These are the privileged few. They are the children of the viceroy of Egypt, the family of the viceroy of Egypt, and they're going to be taken care of. They're going to be taken care of. And so God says you should understand what gift you are receiving and what bracha I'm giving you by being able to survive, because Yosef is going to look after your matters. But I think here there's a bigger truth that is presented to us here. We'll take it away from the Yaakov and the Yosef and the Egypt and the famine part and just think about parents and children. And the role that parents, of course, play through all those years that a child is growing up. That's the responsibility of parents, the blessed responsibility to look after them and provide for them all of their tzrachim, all of their needs. Education, food, shelter, teaching them about what it means to be a mensch, teaching them our faith, helping shape them. That's all in the hands of the parent. At some point, presumably and hopefully, children become independent. They don't need their parents for their tzrachim, for all their basic needs. That's not that. Thankfully, it's not the case. And then a point might arrive in time where parents suddenly realize that they can't take care of their own tzrachim, their own needs, and their own affairs fully. And that's when it gets hard. What happens then? So, in the worst of situations, right, when there's nobody around, you become, hopefully society as a whole helps take care of you, but that's not what we want to be the case. And the blessing is that you have children. That you have children who will be there, la'asot tzrachecha, yishtadlu la'asot tzrachecha, that are going to make great efforts to make sure that you're taken care of. Sometimes that'll be financially, if that's a possibility. But otherwise, it's managing the things of life that you, as the adult, used to be able to take care of on your own. But it's the way things are. At some point, you might not be capable of doing that anymore. The big house, not in the big house. Managing your finances, you might can't be able to manage finances anymore. Purchasing what you need to purchase on the internet, whatever it's going to be. That's where the bracha that God gives to Yaakov is meant to be carried out all the time. And it's the responsibility that falls to children. It is a privileged responsibility that falls to children to help ensure that the bracha continues. That for parents to be able to let go and to know that their children are there for them. And for children to know that this is what's upon us to do, whatever we can. There are some things which are beyond our responsibilities, but there's a lot which are within our abilities. But there's much that we can do, whether in physical presence or even at a distance. And that is the lesson of the parasha to us all, and to those of us who are children, to really hear what the God's call to us to step forward as we should, with the people that matter the most, who did our tzrachim, to be able to play that role for them as well. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.